Welcome back to Fox Weather Live. Well, all the action we've been tracking in the tropics over the past few weeks, it has caused dangerous and even deadly rip currents right along the East Coast.
Yeah, beaches up and down the East Coast were packed this past Labor Day weekend, but beneath the surface, that hidden danger lurked, and sadly, the power of the rip currents claimed at least 2 lives along the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, fortunately, though, one swimmer is lucky to be alive after a surfer jumped into action to save his life, and he caught the dramatic moments on camera. Joining us now is that surfer and United States Marine veteran, Stephen Hauser. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. So tell us just about what unfolded that day.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here. I was down in LBI, and I was shooting a YouTube video for one of my sponsors, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
But you acted there, and we talked about how rip currents are so dangerous, and you weren't alone out there in the water. Your kids were there as well. When did you pull them out of the water, and what made you come to that decision?
I saw that it was getting more rough, and it didn't look good to me, and I just followed my instinct and my intuition. I got my son out, and then I got my daughter out, and then next thing I know, I look at my brother-in-law, and I said, that's a rip current, and those people are stuck. So I saw about 5 to 7 people floating out there, and I knew I needed to do something right away.
I mean, the man we're looking at, he appears to be really out of breath. Like you quite literally saved his life, and you're out there watching the water. It seems choppy, it seems intense, and you can see the waves coming in at you at the camera. You know, based on your experience, based on being out at the shore prior to today, and then that day, and then comparing to what you saw, I mean, how intense was it? Did it feel like things were choppier than usual?
Yes, the situation was definitely weird. It was definitely given more of like a sucking feeling, and I even felt it today when I was in the ocean surfing, and it's still there. It felt very powerful, and if you didn't have some type of flotation device, it would have been really tough to get in. A lot of the swimmers did, and one of my friends swam her mom in somehow. You can see the footage right there. She's doing it. So I don't know how Juliet did that without a board, but she did, and I was thankful to have a board and get Gabriel on that board.
So you mentioned that you could see that it was a rip current. How did you know? Just from you there, how were you able to recognize that's a rip current?
You can see it in the texture of the water. It looks like it's just kind of moving around a little bit different than what the normal surf is doing. So it's a little bit easy for me to spot, but I've been surfing for a long time, so I know when to avoid it.
And how wide was that distance? Could you tell?
Pretty wide. Could have been 30 yards. I don't know how long they can actually get, but sometimes they just come out of nowhere. But when you see it, get out of it.
Yeah. And Steve, can we talk about, because I think you have the board behind you. It kind of looks like a unique board, but for surfers, you could oftentimes use those as kind of a conveyor belt, almost like it pulls you out there so you can get to some of the bigger waves.
Yeah, that's correct. Surfers look for rip currents to take them out. You're right about that. So we don't have to paddle out. It's easier to get out. So when you're on a surfboard, it's great. Hey, just get on the rip current, it'll take you out. And to answer your question about the tandem surfboard, I know they're my sponsor, and I'm not trying to sell you on the idea, but I had the perfect board at the perfect time. I was filming my daughter. She's learning how to surf. She's 8 years old. This is the perfect board to teach your kid or somebody how to surf. My brother-in-law, he wanted to try it out. He's 30 years old, and I was about to hand it over, and thank God I didn't, because I was like, get him in. And it's designed to have 2 people surf on it to make you feel more comfortable in the water. So the tandem design with the straps and the handles, I don't know if I could have done it with a normal boogie board. I really don't think that would have handled that situation the way this inflatable buoyant board did. Incredible.
I mean, very lucky, fortunate souls that you were out there with your experience. I hope you continue to be safe. I know the big problem heading into now the rest of the month that it's going to be warm is you don't have lifeguards out there. So be careful. I'm also a mother. I worry. But, you know, very fortunate that you were there. Steve Hauser, we thank you for your quick thinking. We also thank you for your service as you are a Marine veteran. Thank you.